Hi, I'm Madhav Raman from Anagram Architects, New Delhi, and I'm part of the consultancy team for the Color and Material Intelligence Report, which we call Color of the Year. And I'd like to tell you a little bit about both the 4 stories that we've come up with for this year, as well as the Color of the Year. So there are 4 stories. One is Gothilicious, which really talks about the kind of embracing the darker sides of life, the darker parts of our personality. In many ways, since this is the first year post-pandemic, this has a lot of significance to us. Many people have gone through a lot of trauma, and it's kind of important to accept and embrace these slightly darker parts of life in interior design and space design. The second trend is edge of the forest. And this, of course, has a lot of significance in Nepal, because in Nepal, it's one of the few countries that has actually invested in its natural heritage. And a lot of people identify themselves culturally with their proximity to nature. So I think it makes a lot of sense for this region in particular. But it's got to do with how we can truly find ourselves as human beings when we locate ourselves as part of the planet and part of the environment. The third is sleep sense, and given the level of digitization that we've seen all over the world, sleep sense is a reference to how that has kind of changed our pattern of sleep and our pattern of wellness because of that. And in many ways, the combination of color, texture, aroma, and technology is what Sleep Sense tries to capture as the way forward from this year onwards. And finally, and most interestingly, the 4th story is called Shrooms. And it's very interesting to understand mushrooms as a source or an inspiration to design, because in many ways it's the ultimate act of design by Mother Nature herself. It's this idea of resilience. It's this idea of growth from death. A rebirth from death and growth and propagation. And in today's time of climate change and biodiversity loss, in many ways mushroom reflects a sense that we need to kind of explore objects and living organisms that inspire a visceral reconnect with the environment. And finally, Silver Escapade, which is Asian Paint's Color of the Year. And in many ways, as designers, we feel often we need a color to tie up our theme, to tie up a diversity of ideas, and Silver Escapade allows us to do that in many ways. In Gothilicious, it gives you that edgy, molten, metallic sort of aesthetic. At the edge of the forest, it refers to kind of the dew drip freshness that a forest gives. In Sleep Sense, it talks of how silver as an element actually enhances sleep in many ways. And in Shroom's Silver Escapade's significance comes from the fact that in many ways the networks that mushrooms create have a certain electric sense to them, a certain mercurialness to them, and that's what we feel Silver Escapade refers to. So that's what Asian Paints has, these 4 trends, and this Color of the Year, Silver Escapade.